Focus on strengths to supersize your business. Question today: do you have a confidence bank account for yourself or for your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about it a little bit today. Confidence is what we're focusing on this month for the Be a Better You annual challenge. So I'm like, well, if I'm focusing on confidence for my personal group, why would I not do it for my business group? Because all of us need more confidence. Normally don't start with confidence. I do a 9-part life framework. I've talked about this a lot. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution. I learned from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins way back in the 1980s, like the mid to late 80s. It's been a long time I've used that model. And with the pandemic and all the craziness from that, I added communication and communication and confidence. I said that right in the first place. Okay, woo! Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. So I added confidence and communication as 2 core skills as part of the pandemic and the things that I did to keep moving forward and getting up and going during that crazy time period. And one of the things I did, and I learned this a long time ago, but I didn't ever actually put it into practice, but that was to focus on my strengths, focus on what I was good at, and determine how I could use those in new and different ways as in alignment with all the craziness that was happening in the world, right? And one of the things that I came across again during that time period was this idea of a confidence bank account. Just like a regular bank account, which your accountant probably does for you. If you're like me, that's one of the first functions you farm out for any business that you have, or you outsource, or you get help with, or you hire, because for me, it's not my strength. I can do it. I know how to do it. I did it for years, just like taxes. Did them for years, but when mine got too complicated and too many things and too many changes, I spent a very in-depth search to find my accountant, who was terrific. Don't use them anymore, but I did for a decade and a half, 15 years or more. And I learned that from my dad too. It's like, once you get an accountant, they got all your information. It's really, really hard to switch, which is why I did such a big front end search to interview and pick the one that was right for me and my businesses at the time. So that is all aside, but somewhere along the way, I learned this idea of a confidence bank account. Now, to me, confidence is knowing that I can do something that's presented to me, or I can figure it out, right? You're faced with a problem. I know I can figure it out. There are very seldom a business problem that I ever am like shaking my head at and saying, okay, I don't know what to do here. I pretty much at this point, after 4 or 5 decades in business, know what to do. No matter what comes up, this is what we need to look into. This is who we need to enlist. This is what we need to do. Or at least the next step. Because sometimes all we can do is get to the next step, and then the next step will appear after that. We'll figure out the next step after that, especially with complicated issues and problems. So what is this confidence bank account thing? Well, it's just like your checking account register, right? Where you put the deposits in and you put the withdrawals in and you see what your balance is at any given time. Well, if we're focusing on our strengths, and every time we do something that's in alignment with our strengths, we give ourselves a little deposit. And every time we don't, every time we have to do things that we're obliged to do, or that just have to get done, that we haven't outsourced to anybody else, or we haven't hired somebody to do, then that gets a little withdrawal in our confidence bank account. Why? Because when we're doing things that don't play to our strengths, that we don't love to do, that don't light us up, we're not using our resources and our time and energy in the best possible way. Well, it's true of everybody else in your organization as well. Do you keep a confidence bank account for them? Meaning, give them positive feedback every time they stretch their comfort zone or do something that's in alignment with their strengths. They just have to stretch it a little bit further. I think it's a great tool. It's a great tool to teach people to keep track of themselves, and then to not beat themselves up for things that don't go right, or when they don't do what they say they're going to do in a certain area, because that can chip away at your confidence. But to remind themselves that, okay, I said I was going to do this for 30 days. On day 7, something came up and I didn't do it. So I'm going to take a little withdrawal, but I'm not going to throw away the other 6 days that I did what I said I'm going to do. Those deposits, they're still there. And it just shows me that something happened that I probably want to look into and figure out, well, what happened that set me off or got me off track so that I didn't have time to do the thing I said I was going to do. And it can be whatever thing we're working on, any little goal to increase our confidence. But to me, the default is, if I say I'm going to do something, I either do it or I don't, right? And if I do it, I get a deposit. If I don't do it, I get a withdrawal. And you can keep it simple. You get to decide the magnitude of the deposits and the withdrawals. Say I'm going to post every day for 30 days. And like I said, I might miss it on day 7. Well, what did I give myself for a deposit every day I did it? I mean, I can give it the same amount, or I just for a did it or didn't do it, and then a withdrawal for the amount that I didn't do it. Or you can make up any way you want to do it, because it's what feels good and works for you that matters the most. Now, I love tools like this because not only can we use them to help ourselves be more self-reflective and make sure we're on track for creating what we want with our business, we can share it with other people in our organization too. And you can pick and choose who you share it with. Not everybody can relate to this, or like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't work for me. And then you try it on for a week or so, and if it doesn't work, you find another tool, because there are literally tens of thousands, if not more, tools that we can use to help us to create the life that we want and the business that we want. That's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, if you want help deciding how you would set up your own confidence bank account, hit me up and I can help you with that as well. Have a great day, and I'll of course be with you tomorrow.